Again, it's difficult to say anything without going dwelling into spoiler territory, but we can say he is the fearsome warrior and leader of the Ten Rings organization, and he's a fitting antagonist to the protagonist, which is Shang-Chi, which we'll get to later. But let's focus on some of the unique things, what makes this character unique. For example, for his one of his passive skills, the Agent Leader, villain allies that are given a debuff actually will have all debuffs removed and given a 10% recovery to their max HP. For his tier 2 Will of the Ten Rings, he gets a superpower. He gets super armor, which grants a 5% defense to his 5% buff to his defense. In addition, he is given a 30% buff to his skill damage and 20% buff to his bonus damage.
Wow.
And just that animation alone, yeah, he is powerful, as you would be when you have the 10 rings.
He looks cool too with his black, maybe a little bit of blue.
Black is in. Well, black is always in.
Yeah.
So let's take out the active skills. Moving on to skill 1. Pretty neat. Check it again. This is the Sinister Strike. This is a stunning attack that deals up to 100% of your energy damage. Alright, move on to this group over here. Skill number 2, Dark Violence. And it was just so neat is just when you do the skills, if you pay attention, you can actually see just the way the rings are orchestrating around him and just being used on his enemies.
Oh man.
It's just an energy-based energy attack. Then move on to skill 3. So what makes this skill unique is that, similar to Katie's ability, this is another skill that actually you can use to charge up. Let's see it. By charge up, you can also see that you were given an HP increase, or you can recover HP.
Nice. Yeah, he has a couple ways to do that, huh?
Yeah, this is a stunning attack that grants you 15% of your HP, while also guarding against several hits as well.
I love an HP recovery.
Most people do. Moving on to skill 4.
No, I tend to need it.
That's skill 3 again. We're going to go ahead and move on to skill number 4, which is the Warlord's Threat.
It's threatening!
That skill alone went on for a good amount of time. Let's take a look at it.
I would say it's more than a threat, truly.
This is a skill that decreases your enemy's basic defenses while increasing your overall basic attack and defense, and more. That attack goes on for quite a while, and as you can see, as I'm moving around, the skill actually follows along with me.
Nice.
Take a look at it one more time, because this is actually the first time I noticed it too. Get enemy's defense, so I can move about the field, and this attack goes along with me.
Personal bubble.
And yep, anybody who's hit gets their defense decreased. Now we're going to move on to skill number 5, which is Absolute Control. A lot of very powerful, potent sounding names. Let's check it. So what I like about this skill is a lot of his other skills are more. He's which is why I appreciate about the character, that he is a character who's both combined as both combat and a little bit and blast as well. So his other attacks are more ranged, while this specific attack is actually close ranged. Again, this is another stunning attack which causes incapacitation with an 80% chance to penetrate your enemy's defense. You see, he just moves in and just gives him a barrage of just damage. Alright, just gonna move on. I'm gonna reset this real quick. I'm gonna move on to what the developer's notes say. Most of WENWU's attacks utilize the 10 rings, extending his attack range despite being a martial artist, as it was mentioned before.
I see this.
Skills 3 and 4 scatters the 10 rings to attack while gaining a buff. Skill 5 does not use the 10 rings and attacks enemies only with martial arts. Therefore, it is best to use skill 4 first to use as a buff. So for the recommended skill combinations, I recommend 4 and 5 or 3 and 5. Let's test it. Let's get that buff from 4 and use 5. Nice. And while that's going on, skill 4 is still going out and doing damage. Now let's test 3 and 5. Ah, that was weak. Let's push and hold the skill, and then use 5. Nice. And that is the fearsome WENWU leader, appropriately titled the leader of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, he is intimidating, I will say. I don't want to be having him not on my team. Shang-Chi has his work cut out for him, truly.
He does, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the star of the update himself, and that is Shang-Chi.